Iván Skilsen, Eugenia Powell, Associate Sales Director for Turismo de Panamá. International professional visitors, welcome to Panama. We were discovered by nature, and we are happy to greet you and invite you to explore our land virtually during this weekend. My name is Lorena Fábrega, Business Development Director for Turismo de Panamá. We would like to apologize for the technical inconvenience with appointments. We have been informed by the Chamber of Commerce that they have been solved, and we hope you are able to quickly reschedule with our local tourism providers. Again, welcome to this exclusive meeting with the Minister, where Mr. Iván Skilsen will directly answer any questions you have regarding Panama as a tourist destination for leisure, meetings, and events. Before beginning, we would like to ask you a question to make sure we meet your expectations. I would ask the technical support to please show question number 1 on the screen, please.
Encuesta número 1.
Perfect. What I would like to learn in this forum is, please select one of these 3 choices. All the experiences Panama has to offer, places and products I should focus on when selling Panama, and the 3rd option is, what makes Panama unique. Please cast your vote, and as soon as you do, we will show you the results. I'm going to give you a few seconds. And while we wait for the results, I would like to tell you how this presentation is going to evolve. Please ask any questions pressing the Q&A button at the bottom. During the presentation, as the Minister is talking about the products, about Panama, about its vision, sustainability, please put your questions on the Q&A and we will try to answer as many as possible at the end of the session. So if we have our answers, can we please show them on the screen? Let me know if you're ready for that.
Respuestas.
Here we go. So 21%, all the experiences Panama has to offer, 38% places and products I should focus on when selling Panama, and 41% what makes Panama unique. And I am so glad to get this response, because if the Minister is focusing on something, is showing you what makes precisely Panama unique. It is really good to know that we are online. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Iván Skilsen, Minister of Tourism of Panama. Mr. Skilsen.
Thank you very much, and very happy and honored to be able to share this presentation with you all. And this very special day for us, where we are inaugurating our first Experience Panama Expo, where Panama shows how we can all be resilient in these very difficult times for our industry throughout the world. So to begin our presentation, I will proceed to share the screen. Very happy to show precisely what you have been requesting in the questions asked. So I will proceed immediately. Perfect. So we are on screen, and today we will show you the results of basically our brand new Sustainable Tourism Master Plan towards the year 2025, where Panama has just approved by our National Tourism Council last week a fresh new presentation of our destination, where we are transforming and embracing change and sustainability towards these times of very, very rapid change in the world. And also, we understand these are times when we are as a destination facing aggressive competition from many other destinations that are also facing a difficult crisis. So this is where we believe that our differentiation as a destination, showing what is unique about Panama, and the great experience that is offered by a safe destination where you can basically transit in very short distances, offering a very wide range of experiences and authentic experiences. So this brand new sustainable tourism master plan basically shoots towards this vision towards the year 2025, where we want to make Panama a world-class sustainable tourist destination due to the extraordinary wealth and diversity of our natural and cultural heritage, and also the quality of our services. We are making a brand promise where we're saying what makes Panama unique is our very unique story. So Panama, in a way, is the place where everything has a story. As many of you might know, we are mostly known for our Panama Canal, but Panama is much more than a canal. We have, for more than 500 years, we have been changing the world and impacting the world because of our unique strategic position, being a narrow land bridge where we have basically been the shortcut for the Americas and for the world for all these years. So this story is basically shown throughout our heritage sites. And this is a story we are narrating and showing in this brand new sustainable tourism master plan, as well as the unique story behind our nature. Our nature is very diverse and extraordinary. And the unique aspect of our nature is that we've had for over 100 years the presence of the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute in Panama. So we have science, scientific information that is very unique for our visitors. We are, in our brand new master plan, we're also targeting specifically this unique traveler that is more and more common. Millions of travelers are identifying with this discerning traveler idea, where people are more and more interested in traveling to destinations that show that they care about the conservation of their nature and culture, and also travelers that care about the communities that where they visit. So our experiences are being prepared in this direction more and more in association with the service providers in our country. So that's where we have been preparing these heritage tourism routes, where we have restructured a proposal that was done 20 years ago in Panama by scientists together with the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute to showcase the unique aspect of Panamanian natural and cultural heritage. And we are doing it in 3 pillars. First, our cultural heritage. Second, our green heritage, where we have over 30% of the country being showcased as protected areas. And lastly, our blue or marine heritage, where we have almost 3,000 kilometers of shorelines, very well connected with very distinct ecosystems for a variety of experiences. And always we are trying to bring to attention that we have 5 different UNESCO World Heritage Sites, as well as different intangible heritage items declared by UNESCO. So within this strategy, the approach we're giving it is through the knowledge economy. We're making scientific and historical information the unique differentiator for our tourism experience. This is a more ample view of our heritage routes, where we begin by showing and explaining or showing the visitor this unique history of Panama as a bridge of the world. Again, not only through the Panama Canal, which is the most visited site in our country, but also unique sites such as our Bio Museum, which shows the history of how Panama changed the world over 3 million years ago. Then our colonial history, where we have different UNESCO World Heritage Sites that show how Panama basically had a unique geostrategic position ever since the Spanish colonial empire established in America, and so forth. During the next parts of our presentation, we will continue explaining a bit more about these heritage routes. But summarizing, we have also the part where we have Panama as a melting pot of cultures, where you have indigenous cultures, Afro-descendant cultures, and colonial folklore in our central provinces, and again, our green heritage and blue heritage with different routes that we will show shortly. Very important to mention is that these routes have been worked with in teams with the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, the Biomuseum, the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Environment, and other important academic and scientific actors. So beginning to show you a bit more about these sites that the visitor, the modern day visitor, can get to know in Panama, experiences that are ready to showcase for visitors, and especially now that visitors are more and more eager to get to know experiences that are authentic, unique, and especially in contact and in tune with nature. So in our cultural heritage, we have the roots that explain Panama as the bridge of the world, where we have the beautiful Biomuseum designed by Frank Gehry, the world-renowned architect Frank Gehry. Then we go through different sites that I'll also explain shortly. And that connects with the fact that Panama, because we have been a bridge of the world for centuries, we are, thanks to that, a melting pot of very diverse cultures. So that we are very proud also to show how this cultural diversity is explained in our routes. So the beginning point of it all is the fact that Panama changed the world. For our scientists, and even explained in the NASA Earth Observatory, scientists believe the formation of the Isthmus of Panama is one of the most important geological events to happen on Earth in the last 60 million years. So Panama basically changed the world because Panama connected the continent. Before there was only one ocean, as you can see in the screen in these Smithsonian generated images that are in the Biomuseum. And after the Isthmus of Panama emerged 3 million years ago, two distinct oceans were created, changing the currents of the Earth, changing the climate of the Earth, and thus impacting biodiversity of the planet ever since. So again, this is what is showcased in this beautifully constructed investment of over $100 million that the country has made in our Amador Causeway, right next to the entrance of the Pacific entrance of the Panama Canal, with a beautiful view also of the modern city and the old quarter, the Casco Antiguo, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and right next to our brand new convention center. So this is the place we recommend where visitors begin their experience. So starting from that part of history, then we go to our World Heritage Sites, Panama, La Vieja, the old city that was attacked by pirate Henry Morgan. Because Panama had such a unique geostrategic location, all the treasures that came from South America to Spain came through Panama, and obviously that attracted all the pirates. So Panama, as the headquarters of the Spanish Empire back then, was destroyed by this attack, and after that we had to move the city after this attack in 1671. So the different heritage sites that we have in our narrow land bridge, Panama as a narrow land bridge, for example, we had the old Camino Real and Camino de Cruces paths, which are currently protected areas. So we are in the middle of the jungle. You can experience these authentic natural paths that have all the history of all these treasures that came through our paths, and as well all the pirate attacks and different encounters that happened through these paths. And also when the gold rush happened in the 19th century, these were the paths that also had all the different treasures crossing, because there wasn't a railroad in the United States. People crossed through Panama to go from the East Coast to the West Coast. So these paths have even been showcased by National Geographic as one of the top tours in Latin America, because of this unique nature that contrasts a very powerful history that went through these paths. So in the Caribbean side, we have the San Lorenzo and Portobello forts, because they were such an important point for the crossing of these treasures. The Spanish Empire built these forts that are now World Heritage Site. And as you can see in the image, these are also covered by Panamanian jungle protected areas. So these are, again, the mix of history with unique nature, unique natural experiences. In the Portobello side, which is also on the Caribbean side, which is actually the story goes that Christopher Columbus was the person that gave beautiful Portobello, because there's a beautiful port, Portobello. And also it was the site for a World Fair. So Panama was at the epicenter of world commerce even back then, almost 500 years ago. After the old Panama City was attacked and destroyed, then the city was moved towards Casco Antiguo in 1673, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So here is basically the most happening site in Panama City right now, where you have unique architecture, cultural life, nightlife, gastronomy, religious tourism with different chapels and religious sites. So Casco Antiguo is, with the Panama Canal, the most known tourist site in the city. And just an anecdote that the Scottish colony also tried to establish in Panama a center of operations back in the 1690, but unfortunately this experiment failed. And after the Scottish colony tried to establish here, the Scottish colony had to annex to the British colony after this unfortunate incident. So basically, just to showcase how Panama, ever since we emerged, we have been at the epicenter of change and global importance. Moving on to the Interoceanic Railway, back when the gold rush happened, we mentioned before, Panama had the first interoceanic railway in the world. So because the gold rush had such an important activity in Panama City, the US company decided to build this railroad. And now, when you go from one ocean to the other in Panama, in just 1 hour, you can take this historical railway transit to connect to our Trans-Isthmian railway. And always, the Panama Canal is the experience where everybody wants to visit when they come to Panama. Not only the canal that was built by Americans in 1914 and inaugurated in 1914, but also the new locks built by Panamanians in this 21st century. So you have both sets of experiences in the Caribbean side and in the Pacific side. And also in the old American zone. So Panama had an American zone in both sides, basically a fringe where it was American territory. So we have old properties and old Panamanian American territories. So we had the forts in these areas, and now we are in the process of recreating the history. So for example, the Amador Causeway, where the Bio Museum is located and where the new convention center is located, it was an old American fort, even known back then as the fortified islands, because they were protecting the entrance to the Panama Canal. In the Caribbean side, we had Fort Sherman, which is right next to the San Lorenzo World Heritage Site that I mentioned. But Fort Sherman was the site where the US had their jungle warfare training. So this is in the middle of the jungle, these amazing sites where basically Americans trained their military before they were sent to Vietnam or other military sites and warfare sites. So this is an amazing concentration of heritage when you have the Panama Canal right there, the Caribbean Ocean, the San Lorenzo World Heritage Site, and the San Lorenzo protected area, jungle areas as well. So all these experiences are in a very, very concentrated area. So you have a variety of experiences to live here in Panama. So continuing on this idea of Panama as a hub, of a very powerful hub worldwide. Now we have the hub of the Americas, where our airport pre-COVID was the most connected airport in Latin America, connecting 89 international cities. So this creates a very attractive connectivity for visitors that want to come to Panama and experience all these stories. So we mentioned also that we are finishing our Panama Convention Center. So once this is done, we are also capitalizing on an idea as a hub. So now a hub for events. So for this state-of-the-art facility, again, capitalizing on our connectivity and capitalizing on this great location right next to the entrance of the Panama Canal and right next to the Bio Museum, and also with this great view of the modern city. We're also finishing a brand new cruise port that is also established right there in the Amador Causeway, where all these other interesting sites are located. And in general, Panama is basically the vibrant business hub that for over 500 years, as we've mentioned, we've been the epicenter of world commerce. And that is why we are today this amazing city with skyscrapers in the neotropics. So we're not only a modern city with these infrastructure and skyscrapers, but we are surrounded by jungle areas, which is what really makes us a truly unique city. So also Panama has been named UNESCO Creative City in Gastronomy by UNESCO. So our gastronomy, our food also shows this aspect of Panama as a melting pot of culture. So you're able to taste all these flavors and all these cultures that have been through Panama, through our food. So moving on through a variety of cultures, we have 7 indigenous cultures, live indigenous cultures in Panama. So this is where we begin our melting pot of cultures circuits. But also talking about our indigenous cultures, we connect with pre-Columbian sites. We have the El Caño site, archaeological site, that was showcased in the 2011 cover of National Geographic, where all these very beautiful and very elaborated gold figures, which we have replicas in a visitor center in El Caño. And afterwards, we go to different live indigenous cultures that we can experience in Panama. One of them is the Nassau tribe, or the Nassau group, where King Alexis heads the tribe, or this group, which is one of the only kings in Latin America. So if you're lucky and when you visit the Nassau culture in the western part of Panama, you might be able to greet the king. So moving from the indigenous cultures, which we mentioned, we have 7 live indigenous cultures. We move to our Afro-descendant cultures. For example, we have the Congo culture, which is also a UNESCO intangible culture recognized cultural item. And this is a story of our Afro-colonial history, where this Afro history comes from over 500 years. Back then, when they first came as slaves, and then their dances and their rituals speak about their liberation and how they have kept this very, very powerful and raw culture that speaks of their very unique African heritage. But we also, besides the Afro-colonial heritage, we have our Afro-Caribbean heritage in Bocas del Toro. So we have our basic Caribbean experience, but complemented by this cultural element with their gastronomy, their flavors, their architecture, their calypso music. So all this you can live in Bocas del Toro. And then finalizing our cultural heritage, we have this very beautiful and colorful Spanish folkloric legacy in the central provinces, with hundreds of different dances and experiences that happen throughout the year. And in the picture, we have the beautiful pollera, which we like to say we have the most beautiful typical costume in the world. These are dresses that are hand knitted, and where we can show the tourists and visitors how this rich cultural item is passed on from generation to generation through the artisans. Also, we have another in the central provinces, another UNESCO Intangible World Heritage item, which is the sombrero pintado hat. So this elaborate hat can go upwards of $1,000 because it's such a delicate hand-woven work, and this is an experience you can visit, and visitors can get to know up close the artisans that do this labor. So moving to the green heritage, Panama is such a unique space in America because we are connecting the Mesoamerican biological corridor. We have all these migrations that go through Panama. So this is where we want to showcase different experiences. Again, always emphasizing how Panama is such a small country and how you can travel safely in short distances from one place to the other. And starting from this aspect also shown in our biodiversity museum, our biomuseum, where because Panama is this crossing point, when the Panama Isthmus emerged, the great biotic interchange happened where we had this crossing of species from North America to South America and vice versa, where now we have our narrow land bridge hosts more species of birds and trees than all of North America. So this is a very powerful claim of the explaining the dense variety of and the dense variety of species that you can appreciate in Panama. So right next to the Panama City, you have the Panama Canal watershed. This is of vital importance to the operations of the Panama Canal. So the Panama Canal depends on water, and the water depends on our beautiful and diverse rainforest. So we have over 7 different protected areas that you can transit through and go through different paths. And in this sense, in this picture, you can see the canopy tower, where you can, just 30 minutes from the city, you can experience world-class bird watching in the Panama Canal watershed. And right next to this area is also the area where all the treasures happen, and all the treasures that happened in colonial times past. So again, we have this contrast of history and nature, culture, and the modern city right next to these experiences. Also in the Panama Canal watershed, we have the Smithsonian Tropical Research Visitor Center, where visitors and tourists can experience these Smithsonian curated tours. And this is Barro Colorado. It's actually the most intensively studied tropical forest in the world. So again, this is a very powerful claim for visitors to be able to experience Panama, the raw experience, but always counting on the curated experiences of the Smithsonian, being close to Panama City with all the infrastructure and all the services. So this is a bit more on the Smithsonian. The presence of the Smithsonian in Panama is closely tied to the construction of the Panama Canal. So ever since the Panama Canal was being built, the Smithsonian was established here, and now we have this great tradition of science extracting all this knowledge and research in Panama. So they have 11 research centers in Panama. Another area in Panama is on the eastern side. The Darian Biosphere Reserve is our largest rainforest area right next to Colombia. So it is the second most important or largest rainforest area after the Amazon, except that Darian is much more accessible than the Amazon is. And in this rainforest, you can also experience live indigenous groups that we mentioned before with living traditions. And again, this amazing experience with primary jungle trees and so forth. We have different conservation projects that we'd like to showcase in these areas. For example, there's a jaguar conservation project where we have National Geographic Emerging Explorer Ricardo Moreno creating consciousness or awareness of the importance of this beautiful species that is responsible for maintaining a balance in our biodiversity and in our jungle areas. Moving on to the western part of Panama, we have the highlands of western Panama, where we have this amazing path where you can climb up to basically the ceiling of Panama, the highest point of the country, where you can view both oceans after this amazing experience. That for the more adventurous type, you can climb on one side, takes over 6 hours, or you can experience over 5 or 6 different ecosystems on your way up. Or from the side from Boquete, you can take a road right very close to the peak and then walk to the final fragment. And the unique aspect of the Volcan Baru is that it is also responsible, the volcanic soil is responsible for the most valuable coffee in the world right now. Panamanian geisha coffee constantly is breaking new world records. Incredible to mention that at one moment, 1 pound or 1 kilogram of geisha coffee was paid $10,000 in the Middle East a few years ago. So you can experience in Panama the coffee circuit right next to the Volcan Baru, where you can try the secrets and learn from the secrets of how this amazing coffee is cultivated and processed. So continuing to the Forest of Life experiences, we have in the central area of Panama also other unique waterfalls and beautiful experience. So for nature lovers, you could have so many experiences in Panama to live in these natural aspects and especially nowadays, considering biosecurity measures, because there are so many areas, you can always guarantee that you will have an open area where you can feel safe and where you can feel that you can maintain the proper protocols. Also in our routes, we're showcasing bird watching. We have the Birds in Paradise route. So for example, in the Western Panama, you have this, we're showcasing the resplendent quetzal, which is easier to observe in Chiriquí than anywhere else in Central America. So even though we have this amazing variety of birds, we have these few unique varieties where we want to showcase. Also the harpy eagle on the eastern side, more on the eastern side of Panama. It's the most powerful bird of prey in the world and also Panama's national bird. So in the Darian Reserve we mentioned before is a unique place where with the proper guides you can be able to be able to observe these unique species. So moving from the green heritage to the blue heritage, we'd like to mention how Panama, when we emerged 3 million years ago, we created the two oceans, distinct oceans were created with different ecosystems as well. So on the Caribbean side, we have our Marine Wonders route, which for example, in San Blas or Gunayala, you have these beautiful virgin and paradisiacal beaches that is an area protected by indigenous culture. So these are indigenous territories that you can visit just a few hours from Panama City. And a bit to the west, we have Colón, also with very beautiful and unique ecosystems. And one of them is the Smithsonian Visitor Center, where you have mangrove surrounded research station near the Caribbean entrance to the Panama Canal. And on the Pacific side, we are showcasing also a very different ecosystem where we are also supported by closeness to Panama City. Just 1 or 2 hours from Panama City, you can have these archipelago or islands that are close to Panama City. The closest islands are the Pearl Islands that also have a unique history, where actually pearls were actually extracted hundreds of years ago when the Spanish first came here. And to the western side of our Pacific Ocean, we have a Koiba National Park. The unique aspect of Koiba is that not only is it a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but also it is part of the Marine Conservation Corridor of the Tropical Pacific East, the same as the Galapagos Islands. So we have the same biodiversity migrating from Panama, Cocos Islands in Costa Rica, and Malpelo and Gorgona Islands in Colombia. Also the Gulf of Chiriquí in the western side of Panama in the Pacific. And in the Caribbean Ocean, we have Bocas del Toro, probably the second most important site after Panama City, declared hotspot by Mission Blue which is an initiative led by National Geographic explorer Dr. Sylvia Earle. Again, one of the sites that has Smithsonian research centers. And in different parts of the country, we're also showcasing the ability or the opportunity to experience in this time of the year, for example, turtle nesting and turtle birth experiences, which is such a beautiful experience for all the family to appreciate. And also the idea of these giants of the sea, the migrations that happen from humpback whales are also around this time of the year. And we are also showcasing very interesting community-led initiatives. For example, in Veraguas, in the province of Veraguas in the Pacific Ocean, you have turtle nesting protection by the community. So you can live this experience led by the community where you can see the turtle birth experience. And to finalize the blue heritage, we're also showcasing in the humpback whales experience how the Smithsonian worked with the Panama Canal, this initiative to protect humpback whales, basically separating traffic from the ships crossing the Panama Canal so they wouldn't get into the path, or at least minimize the impact on the path of the whales. All of this strategy in our tourism master plan is basically showcased with the vision of the tourism conservation research strategy. So we are proposing this virtuous circle, working together with our Ministry of Environment and our Ministry of Culture and our Secretariat for Research, where we had the opportunity to basically revitalize an initiative that was prepared 20 years ago in Panama. And now we are reactivating with the support of our president, where Panama is committing to the conservation of our natural and cultural resources. And also important to mention that with that community tourism focus, that we're also trying to prepare and work with communities that are ready to receive tourists and to be able to tell their experiences firsthand on behalf of the communities in areas that we have identified with the government-led initiative that have high levels of poverty. So we are trying as a government to approach these communities that have preparation in tourism, but to be able to attract more tourists, also always being able to control the capacity of these areas. So with these communities, we're working on a pilot plan with high heritage value and high poverty index, working together with sustainability processes and initiatives, and working with them again so they can prepare for this relaunching of the Panama as a tourist destination. So we are also, as I mentioned in the beginning, focusing Panama as a sustainable, our vision is to prepare Panama as a world-class sustainable tourist destination. So we are also promoting the sustainable tourism certification. And finally, we are also working on, we had a brand new law approved late last year, and the rules were finally promulgated at the middle of this year, offering 100% tax deduction for tourism investment incentives. So wherever we are focusing on our tourism strategy, we're also focusing on attracting tourism investments to activate more of these sites. So that would be it for today. Finalizing with a message that Panama is preparing, and we are prepared to receive tourists with our reopening of our destination internationally with international flights on October 12th. Panama is preparing with biosecurity protocols. We are even working on our public-private initiatives to showcase how Panama is preparing to receive international visitors with the highest standards, to the point where we have also been, we have received the seal or a certificate also from the WTTC, the Safe Travel Certificate. So we are ready to receive tourists with Panama hospitality and with this amazing, authentic cultural and natural experiences for all the visitors in the world. So thank you very much. It's been an honor to share with you these experiences, and we hope the next part of this presentation happens with you all and many visitors when you are able to come to Panama. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights, Minister Esquilsen. It never ceases to amaze me how in each presentation, I learn a new story behind the story when I listen to you. Always educational and inspiring. We will begin the Q&A session with another question for our audience. This presentation, oh, please post the question before I read it. Here we go. This presentation motivates me to select, I would love to promote and travel to Panama, or learn more about Panama, or both. So I'll give you a couple of minutes, reminding you that if you have not joined our expo, please register at experiencepanamaexpo.com. We will have all presentations posted at the Media Hub, including this one, and the conferences that are being shown today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. You can also check them out at the Media Hub if they coincide with a scheduled appointment. So please be sure to travel through all of our expo to check every destination, because you will see more presentations such as this one. Okay, so if we finish with the question and we can show the answer, please. Both, 78%, wonderful. And then 22% would love to promote and travel to Panama and learn more about Panama. Seems you know it all. Well, I invite you to join the expo, because I'm sure you'll find out things that I'm still learning as I listen to the minister and I travel to every stand and booth at the conference. So let's continue with your questions. There was a question from Travel Planners India. And the question for you, Minister, is how you would like to promote tourists from India. As you know, India is currently one of the highest outbound tourism figures from Asia after China. So USA and Canada are doing a very strong efforts and job promoting MICE meetings and events in India. What are Panama's plans, and do we plan to do so in India, considering that it's just one more flight away from the USA? That is the question.
Thank you. So for sure, I mean, India is a huge market, same as China, the eastern part of the world. So for India and the rest of the East, I think Panama is such a unique culture, right? Getting back to the presentation, in such a small country, the fact that you can have indigenous cultures, Afro-Panamanian cultures, Spanish colonial culture, and that melting pot all blended together, and all always mixed with our ocean heritage, our blue heritage, our green heritage. So all this mix of experiences, we believe, is very attractive to the Eastern cultures, where basically you might have powerful cultures in that area of the world, but I'm sure they would be very, very amazed of the unique aspects of Panamanian culture and Panamanian nature.
Thank you, Minister. Another question was, are there international flights from David? And I think I answered that one regarding that there are only domestic flights reopening from Monday. But Minister, if there are any other plans that you could let us know?
Sorry, on domestic flights, that was a question?
It was, are there any international flights from David Chiriquí?
Okay. Right now, there had been flights from David to San Jose, Costa Rica. So that was the spot that, or the one destination that was served from David. But as with the rest of other regional airports, such as, for example, the Rio Hato Airport in the central part of the country, which receives flights from Canada, we are focusing on also strengthening this, the management and the attraction of new airlines and brand new international destinations from these flights. But right now, only the one I mentioned from David.
So I have a comment from one of our audiences, and it's they must know you very well, Minister, because it says, "Dear Ivan, thanks for your wonderful presentation. How the heck did you do this without stopping for a drink of water? Great job."
Well, and now I'm ready for a drink of water. Now we have to come to Panama and live all these experiences. We'd like to personally greet you all once we are opening again and to be able to showcase all these experiences.
Another question we have from Juliet Kors is, are Americans allowed to move there, and is citizenship dual? Well, I can answer the last part of the question. I have a dual citizenship. I am Panamanian and a US citizen, so yes, dual citizenship is allowed. And regarding migration status, my mom moved from the US also, so they're allowed. I don't know if there's anything you can add there, Minister.
No, basically, we would have to check with each nationality what the current policy is. But Panama has always been a place that is open to the world and eager to attract people from all nationalities as much as possible.
Following, there's another question regarding the opening post-COVID. The opening, will it be available for all countries, or there will be some restrictions for some countries?
Thank you. Right now, there are no restrictions, so we are happy to be able to formally confirm that all nationalities are welcome beginning on October 12th.
So there's a question from Savio Monserrate, truly amazing country. Is there an update on flights from Europe? And I'd be happy to tell you, Savio, that we are going to be updating our flights on our website. Our website was relaunched yesterday with current information, and as of Monday we will have the flights from Europe. I don't know if the minister has further information to add.
No, basically you have very well summarized it very well. Thank you.
Let me see what other questions. We have a couple minutes still yet. So there are the development chapter head for Canada in the International Ecotourism Society wants to develop collaborations between Panama and Canada. This is precisely what this expo is all about. So thank you for letting us know. And they would like to arrange time to do so with your permission. And so Eugenia is taking note of this so that we can set up an appointment. Lucy Damiani. Yanid Horowitz, buenos dias, Shabbat Shalom from Israel, under lockdown. May I please ask how and when Panama will join her neighbors, Colombia and Costa Rica, and embrace the LGBTQ community? One of the market after COVID-19 that will travel is LGBTQ1. That is for sure. Minister, I don't know if you have any comments on that question.
No, again, Panama is always a place where we are open to all cultures, everything. Basically, even our coat of arms says Pro Mundi Beneficio, Panama to the service of the world. So this is our nature, and this is what we are proud to be hospitable and receive people from all cultures and backgrounds.
So this is a very good question and help from Collie Wells. What can we do now to promote Panama specials on social media via pictures and videos? Do you have a website to go to for marketing material for travel agents? Callie, we are constructing that as of today. Our international communications and PR agency is Beautiful Destinations. And so I think that through them and through Visit Panama, our website, you can also access the videos and pictures that you're asking for. Thank you, Callie. Yes, there will be social distancing and masks. I will answer that for the minister. Social distancing of 2 meters, and yes, everybody has to wear masks. So, Minister, I think those are special questions for you today. If there aren't any others that I can see, Eugenia, do you see any other questions? questions that we might want to answer? Yes, one more?
No,
No, that's it?
that's it.
To all of our international professional visitors, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much, Minister Eskilsen, for your wonderful presentation. Eugenia, Powell, for setting this up. We are available these 3 days at the conference. Please do not miss all the wonderful conferences and exchanges we have. Please register at experienceexpopanama.com, and we hope to see you very soon, not only virtually, but in person. I don't know if you have any final words, Mr. Eskilsen, for all of us.
No, just thanking the Prom Tour team and all the team that has worked on this, and all the audience that has carefully listened. For us, it's always a matter of pride to be able to show our beautiful country. And again, hoping that you can all make it and visit us and get to know these amazing experiences up close.
Thank you. Have an excellent, excellent weekend and expo. Good afternoon, everyone.
Video.
We are here, blessed by nature, the land that once emerged to change the world's biodiversity, separating oceans, uniting humanity, where scientific minds have fed from for centuries. Here, we watch, listen, and learn, to adapt and share, to understand the true nature of respect, the same nature that thrives as the world prepares for the new normal. This is our natural normal. We are here. Ever since we changed the world, we are prepared, and we will be here to change yours. Panama, discovered by nature.